The Real Dads Club, Real Dads Network, um, it's helping me to be a better person. It's an opportunity for me to come together in brotherhood with the purpose of, for the purpose of building each other up. And I'm not really sure how I found my way to the club, to the network, but I'm really happy that I did. Uh, I have a 11-year-old daughter, and as a single dad, sometimes it's difficult, just as it is with a single mom, or quite honestly, in a two-parent household. But the burden I feel is greater, given the circumstances of being Black, and sometimes what my daughter sees in the media and the news and society as images that look similar to her Black father, and they're scary. And my goal is obviously to counteract anything negative with love and support and dedication as a father. And I'm so happy that I found a network that's helping me to be a better father, to be a better person, and to really just strive towards progress every day. Um, Vulnerability is something that is actually a strength, and I'm becoming more vulnerable through the network. So check us out, come and join us, bring your whole self. During our meetings, there's alternating weeks where we have guest speakers brought in who are experts in certain areas. And what's really cool about the club is that uh, everyone gets to vote on what's very important and impactful in their lives. So in particular, when you look at the content of what these experts can bring, it really kind of is customized to what the consensus is. And they're very relevant, albeit financial, education and literacy, and or perhaps starting a business, or health, mental health, physical fitness and such. But one resonated with me where we started to talk about aspects of our life where we're more of a spectator than we want to be, and we want to be participants, and how to do that. Definitely took some soul searching and some really intimate conversations with some really good brothers. But there's something for everybody, and it's just so lively and so relevant to building up yourself, your family, and your fatherhood journey. So just a great place to be. And come get some of this. It's a lot of fun, very educational as well.
All right, good evening. So we could get started, and Uncle Mike has given me the pleasure of addressing this esteemed crew today. And he also shared with me a link to the Instagram for Demetrius Holt. And I got to tell you, I'm not going to even try to really introduce him, because I was blown away by the visual content, by the images of him and his son, and just brought me to my childhood and kind of what we were exposed to. And so I'll let Demetrius Holt introduce himself, if that's okay, because when he talks about representation and what that means in the media, and what that means to all of us, not only people of color, but I think all people, young and old. I think it's profound, and I really was struggling with some of the images that I grew up with of Superman, and some other superheroes that I would look to, and how I aspired, but I never saw myself being them. Anyway, without further ado, please, Demetrius, if you don't mind, can you tell the brothers a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Sure. Thank you. Evening, fellas. My name is Demetrius Holt. I'm an electrician by day and um a cosplayer that turned into an actor, producer, writer, and activist like within a span of like a couple of years. um I am the father of a 3-year-old little boy named Kawhi, and uh everything that I'm doing at this point really is for him. And every other child that can possibly resonate with what we're doing. So I am a cosplayer that started you know I got into cosplay in 2017. I had gone through a divorce, and I used to be a bodybuilder with my ex-wife, so I needed a different type of hobby. And as you can see, like, this is something that I've been into since I was a child. I've been collecting action figures and comic books since I was 3 or 4 years old, and the idea of getting into character at comic book conventions was something that I didn't know was a thing until maybe 2015, 2016. And I decided to jump into that in 2017. And it was a passion that I just fell in love with. And I didn't know it was going to be something like that. And then,
Yeah, sure. Because the question to ask yourself.
I'm sorry.
Demetri, it was just a little
Oh,
technical difficulties. Go for it.
okay. Well, yeah. So, yeah, I did the cosplay thing, and then about 14 months into cosplaying, by October 2018, I did a He-Man cosplay. It was um the version of He-Man that I thought of myself if I ever got the power, when I was a kid. And like, I mean, I'm 39 years old, and I got older brother and older sister, so kung fu theater and all of those influences, was still like, in my face. So of course, uh when you watch Enter the Dragon, you see Bruce Lee, but then yet you also see Jim Kelly, so my version of He-Man always had an afro, and because you can have short hair, but when you have that power, you have like the power. So therefore the afro comes in, and from there it's always been that. So when I did that cosplay back in 2018, it kind of hit and resonated with a lot of people. And since then, there have been numerous amount of fan art, and then I was able to raise $20,000 off of Kickstarter to create animated PSAs to let Black children know that their Black heroes exist. Um, I only asked for $1,000, but people got behind it, and they loved the fact that this was something that was like of a genuine endeavor. And yeah, within 30 days you got 20 grand. And we finally got the first one out a few weeks ago, and I'm willing, I can share that with you all in a bit. But from there, it's been a whirlwind to a degree. I'm actually a character in DC Comics now called He Soul. He'll be featured on the cover of the what was it? It's a Masterverse, yeah, Masters Universe Masterverse issue number 4 in the next couple of weeks. I believe it's like May 17th is when it drops. Um, and yeah, the different all the other different characters that I've done have gotten a lot of notoriety, and I've been able to go to different places and actually create a brand called Blerd and Powerful that does give the um I want to say the Blerds, or the Black nerds who are online and in person, the ability to have some self of some sort of affirmation where they can be themselves without being deterred from their path of happiness by people who don't look like us, who think that we shouldn't exist in their spaces. So that's where you get the affirmation of Blerd and Powerful. And with that, I'm also pushing Black owned comic book conventions to have more of a footprint nationwide. And there's about 4 Black owned conventions that I'm concentrating on right now: Blerd Con, J1 Con, Afro Comic Con, and Black Label Comic Con. They all have their different disciplines, they all have their different attractions. but they're all ran by professionals. They're all ran by people who have been in the industry one way or another. So, you know, being able to push them, it allows for kind of like a concentrated like surge of funds and notoriety to not just one Black-owned business, but 50 or 60 Black-owned businesses that are housed within the comic book convention. And then from there, you know, you got to think about the infrastructure support within the city that houses these conventions. You know, I take, say, for example, San Diego Comic-Con. They see about 130,000 people per day in San Diego during a 5-day convention. You got to imagine all of the small, you know, businesses and all the, you know, the vendors and whatnot, they see a financial boon because people go to those conventions. The same thing is true for Black-owned conventions, except for there's just not a lot of us because a lot of people don't know that Black-owned conventions exist. Furthermore, if I can get more funding to these Black-owned conventions, they can exist longer than just a day in a rec center. Like, you know, in Detroit, when I went to the Black Age Comic Book Convention last year, and then, you know, between Saturday and Sunday, those are great days to have conventions. But if I could get, you know, a convention to exhibit longer than that, like maybe a Friday, and then it won't be so much during the summertime, but maybe during, you know, during the school year, we can get, you know, middle school or high school students who are studying, you know, art or who want to know about the business or about the industry. They would be able to be bussed out there for field trips in order to meet these artists, in order to meet these creatives, so that they can get a, you know, one-on-one, hands-on opportunities to get their horizons, you know, expanded. So, you know, there's a lot of endeavors. There's a lot of things that these young children can benefit from if we had more money going into a central localized, you know, area where everyone benefits. And it's not just one Black-owned business. It's not just one area. It's an entire city, an entire infrastructure, it's an entire culture that could very well benefit over time, you know, simply by just concentrating on something that happens every single year, that's ran by professionals, that you can see the benefits almost immediately. You know, there's the return on investment in these conventions is almost immediate. So again, like I've got my different endeavors in place. I'm still trying to talk to people who are willing to talk to the owners of these Black-owned conventions so that they can see where they can partner with them, so they can get, you know, some level of notoriety. And everything that I'm doing from there is just, you know, a byproduct of being able to say I'm here, I'm trying to help within the lane that was given to me. You know, so I've spoken to Cub Scouts, spoken to college students. Just the other day, I was at a high school in DC talking to kids about all the different stuff that, you know, we do within the nerd space, and they had no clue we existed. And it was almost disheartening, but, you know, they know now. So that's all I can say is, you know, they know now, and trying to focus on the positive and continue to keep that rolling. Hopefully people see the videos that I put out and they'll invite me to speak to whatever groups I can possibly get my hands on, so I can get more people to see that we exist. It's just been difficult to get people locked down to hear what I got to say. It's just, that's just where we at. So, you know, again, thank you for the invitation, and I would love to contribute however I can.
That's awesome. I applaud you for, I'm sure we all do, for making this difference. You spoke about so many different ventures that you're passionate about. Is there one like one particular endeavor that's the main focus of what you're doing? So we could like really fully understand and perhaps back you as much as possible. Because I heard kind of spreading the word, speaking engagements, and I know the conventions. So Sorry for the long-winded question, but I'm just curious. It's like, is there a main driver to what you're doing?
Well, the main thing that so I'm wearing the brand that I created in order to help push the endeavor. It's called Blerd and Powerful. The what I'm doing with that is having a face and having a flag for Black nerds to fly so that they can feel some level of solidarity with one another when things happen. And also I guess over time, over a 30-year period, it'll be I want to say the entity that oversees the management of resources between all of the Black conventions across the country. If you look at white conventions, they've got like, pockets of it. They got WonderCon or they've got Fan Expo. These different entities share resources and they share like, contacts with one another so that all of their conventions are successful. We don't do that, and the only way that this endeavor itself can grow is if, let's just say I speak to a group of brothers in, Alpha Phi Alpha, or or any other fraternity, or any other group, or just like I'm talking to you all. You all know people that I don't know, but yet everyone has the same goal, which is to push Black owned dollars or Black dollars within Black entities. We all talk about Black Wall Street. We all talk about Tulsa. We all talk about these different things that happened in the past, but somehow, some way, we just can't get that done now. But if you concentrate on one localized entity that feeds into many entities, think about the concentration happening on that level. You know what I mean? So, and then it immediately feeds into the children because it's geared for kids, So there's no real downside to investing into conventions because at the end of the day, your money is going exactly to where you want it to go, where it's whether it's a charity, whether it's a business, whether it's children. Because we all keep saying that the kids are the future, but then yet what are we actually doing in order to make sure that they get the type of support, that they really need, and all of us are, accomplished on some level, but it didn't happen without some level of communal support, some sort of familiar support, and a lot of kids don't know what that means. They don't know what that feels like. So honestly and truly, like, I'm not asking for your money. I'm asking for you to talk about the possibility of your money going into places that you can see the difference being made, and it being something that you personally may enjoy, especially if it's something that taps into your childhood. Like right now, I'm also a part of an entertainment company called KDS Entertainment. Our goal is to create a Black-owned speculative fiction streaming service, a la, let's just say, it looks like Netflix, but it's geared specifically for the Black nerd. And how do we do that? How do we take Tyler Perry's model? We have our own IPs, we have our own stories, and we create, we produce, and we distribute on our own, and we focus on our very own niche, which is the Blerds. He focused on the church-going folks, the folks that, the super Black folks that had, those kinds of stories that he was telling to relate to. And those are the folks that gave him the capital to move up and to do things more than what he was doing before, just the stage plays. So see how he concentrated on one thing, just like how we're trying to, like, say, if we're trying to concentrate on the Black-owned conventions, that concentration fulfills so many, it checks off so many boxes, right? So it's kind of hard to, once you hear about it, it's kind of hard to not think about, I wonder where it could go, And the thing is, there's not that many of us, there's not that many Black-owned conventions in the country. We don't have the funding to be a lot of us, and the fact that you have some that are ran by elites and professionals that have been around, like Kevin Grievo, you know, been in the comic book industry for years. He's an actor. I think if you remember the movie Underworld, he was like the big werewolf dude, you know what I'm saying, with a real deep voice. You know what I mean? Like, he's a part of all of this. He's a part of the team that I'm on. You know, he believes in what we're doing. And it's kind of hard to pull back and see why things are so hard.
Where are you located, one? And two, when you talk about a convention, what's the cost? So like, what do you think it would be a place to do a convention?
Well, see, that's the thing. We have conventions already in place. They just need to grow. Okay. Personally, I'm based out of Baltimore, Maryland. Okay. Is like I said, J1 Con has been around for 10 years, right? It's based out of Atlantic City, New Jersey. Afro Comic Con, they're working towards having an influx of 10,000 people to participate this year, and they're based out of Oakland, California. You got Blerd Con, has a consistent 6,000 to 7,000 people, you know, that come, and they're out of Crystal City, Virginia. And then you got Black Label Comic Con is outside of Philadelphia. You know, like I said, the one I went to last year in Detroit has been going on for several years, and it's based in a rec center just on one day though. Then you have the Urban Action Showcase that's out of New York, out of one of the movie theaters in New York City proper. He's been going on for several years, and he's able to get, like, the first year that I went to that one, he had Michael Jai White and Ty Mack. You know, it was like the 20th anniversary of Spawn and like the 40th anniversary of the Five Deadly Venoms. You know what I mean? And they were able to get those actors there. Like we have some notoriety going. But as far as money is concerned, I would push you all to talk to the specific con owners, and then you all can work that out. You know, I think one of the biggest barriers where we as Black people have is when someone's coming to you about, you know, money. You know, I got to make sure you know that I'm not looking for your money. You know, because people get grifted all the time. You know, I mean, it's just, if I wanted your money specifically, I'd be like, hey, buy a t-shirt, buy a tank top, you know, help me, you know, fund some of the stuff, because you know, the website, I didn't know how much it costs to run like an online business in order to just get things out there, like a website. It's expensive. So yeah, the t-shirt, you know, sales that I make, or the hoodies and all that stuff goes just right back into the monthly, just to keep things going. So it's not for me. Any real money, that is for the convention owners and y'all to have that conversation. So if you all have some sort of like business that you want to get like advertised while at the conventions, get your logos out there, have a booth out there, talk to them. I don't have a problem giving you their information, because that's what the whole pitch deck, that's my entire purpose, is to give you their information so that y'all can work something out so they can grow. You know, so that it's like, it's a very simple, I will connect you to these people and y'all work it out, and just continue to talk about it with your friends. You know, there's a thing called the Reunion in West Virginia or Virginia, where Black restaurateurs and you know, Black critics, food critics, they get together, they spend about $3,500 for the weekend just to get in one space, eat each other's foods, and then network. You know, that money could go towards a convention, and someone might be able to keep the lights on for an extra day, and we can get 60 kids in there. And how many lives can we change in that moment? You know, you don't know how much your money could possibly, how much good your money could possibly do until someone shows you a simple path. And that's what I'm here to do.
Awesome.
We have a hand raised.
I don't see it. Whoever it is.
Oh, that's me. No, I was gonna
Oh,
say if
okay.
hey everybody. I was gonna say if you wouldn't mind dropping those in the chat, I would love to talk to those people who are doing
Okay.
these events. I don't know if anyone can hear me. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, that's not a problem. Actually, let's see. Do I? How do I? Oh no, I would.
Yeah,
Okay, so yeah, well, this is what I'll do. This is what I do. I will go to Canva, and I can screen share what this pitch deck looks like, so that you all can see, and then we'll go that way, so they can be on everyone's screen, because they don't mind this. I mean, because it's just us. It's not like everyone can get in or whatever like that, so it's fine. Okay, so if I hit this.
Hey, Demetrius, I got a quick question for you.
I'm
You know,
listening. Go ahead.
You've been doing this work for a minute, and I know you've received some death threats by what the work you're doing. Can you like talk about how you cope with it and how you deal with it?
How I deal with the death threats.
Yeah, I know.
Who
I
has
know.
threatened my life?
I'm just saying in the comments, in your comments, and stuff like that.
Oh, I was like, man, like who's threatening my life? Who do I
No,
need to
like in the
get-
comments and stuff like that. You read your comments, and there's times where people,
Yeah. Let's see. Can you all see this?
Yeah, we could do it.
You can see this. All right, great. So yeah, so the thing is, there have been people who have received negative comments simply for cosplaying as characters that would typically be white, but since we're black, it's an issue for them. You all see it. I'm pretty sure you've heard of the controversy of Ariel being black,
Mhm.
and here we go. So these are the four these are the four conventions that I'm focusing on right now, and these are the emails between everyone who actually owns it. Like they are the decision makers, unless they have a committee. And I think the only convention that has like a committee that he takes things to would be BlerdCon. But Eric, Ali, and Michael and Jason, they have exclusive like decision making abilities for their conventions that they own. But the idea that you can't be a character because your character is because you're black is something that white people seem to think that is a viable thing. And you have a lot of cosplayers who are nerds, who are introverts, who are adverse to confrontation. I grew up a certain way where I was a military brat. My parents are Air Force, and the idea that everyone is the same, doesn't matter what the color of the skin, like that's how they raised me. So when I never really had the issue of being diminished in any capacity. I always had a certain type of support, whether I wanted to play sports, whether I wanted to play a musical instrument. My parents always gave me the leeway to explore those things. And I know that's not the same for a lot of kids, but there's a lot of folks who are in this cosplay community now who are really just now discovering themselves. So when they are trying different things and they put their art out there, they put their their products out there, and then people attack them for it, it sends them into an emotional maelstrom. And they have breakdowns, they're filled with anxiety, and when we find out about it, those of us who are confrontational, we go after whomever we can in order to solve that issue. And that's where I think, you know, a lot of us, that's where the Blerd community shines. Whereas, you know, we might have our squabbles, we might have, you know, it's just like any other family, but you know, when it's time to close ranks, that's what we do. And you know, the idea of Blerd and Powerful being a shield or being a symbol for that level of solidarity, that's why it's the Black Fist. You know, if I don't know if any of you like watch anime or read manga or whatnot, but there's levels to it that are represented in the logo itself that certain people can pick up on, to know that that's like a safe symbol, a safe place to go to in case they need help. And you know, that's exactly why what I'm doing and what it's for. So
Very cool.
were y'all able to get this?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So
I
yeah,
was
so
trying to personally, I was trying to go to the Blerd and Powerful. Is the website up? I'm
yeah,
having an issue trying to.
blerdandpowerful.com. Yes.
Yeah.
You might have to refresh it. I've been wanting to do some changes to it since I've been doing so many speaking engagements. I've actually still got the videos and such, but I got to get those loaded onto the site. And between it's hard to sit down and try to learn a different interface to to make sure that you get this thing done. But it's something that's I'm gonna get done here soon. But yeah, it's up there. So is the shop and all that stuff. It's the general premise is there, and I'm just using it as like a way for people to either contact me through either Instagram or email. You know, yeah. So and there's a lot of people that are rolling with it. You know, as far as like saying views on TikTok, we've got like over 12 million views, and I started this September 28th of last year, as far as using the hashtag Blerd and Powerful. And you know, since then, yeah, we got up to like 12.3 million views, and you know, over 1,000 posts on Facebook, and a lot of people are catching on to it. They're supporting it, they're sharing what they're seeing, you know, and it's not going to waste. It's all about having the right people see it. It's not about a whole lot of people seeing it. It's just the right people seeing it. You know, it is trademarked. I'm waiting for the registration so I can put the little circle, the little R with the circle in it. You know, and everything is on the up and up. Like there's no shiesty, you know, shell game or anything like that. You know, like I said, all the money goes right back into the business just to keep it going. Because look at the people who are buying this stuff. Like we're you know, Black is beautiful, baby. Like, come on, look at this. You know, and I ask people to send me stuff once they get the clothing or whatever, and like they make TikToks out of it. They, you know, make sure that they send me something that I could use in advertising material. And I don't ask for that. I just ask for a photo. So, you know, that's the level of support that we're getting for something like this. And these are the things that I've done in the last 5 years.
Wow.
So yeah, and I've done a Juneteenth documentary that you can find on YouTube, and also on a Black-owned streaming service called Always Press Record. I've got a couple things on there because they are really good partners of mine, where they, you know, they got a nice little section for everything that I've ever made, you know, whether it be a short film that's based on X-Men, or like say you know, the PSAs. And then this documentary is about 28 minutes long. We all know everything about Greek mythology or Norse mythology, you know, but we don't know anything about our mythologies, you know, as far as from the African diaspora. So what I asked cosplayers to do a couple of years ago, it was actually the same year that Juneteenth was made into a national holiday. I had asked them, about 8 months prior to that actually happening to go talk to their grandparents and find out exactly where they came from. You know, not everyone is from South Carolina, not everyone, you know, is from Texas or anything like that. You know, some of us came over on that boat, you know, and we don't know who or, you know, what tribe we were from. So they were able to do some research and find out they were part of, like, you know, the Yoruba tribe, or they're from, like, you know, their descendants come from, like, Egyptians. So they came as characters, or came as gods or goddesses that were reflective of their own personal heritage. And that photo shoot turned into a nice documentary that let people know that, you know, it's okay to not only one cosplay, but it's also fine to cosplay who you are, you know, and where you come from, you know. And that's it's kind of what the essence of what Freedom Day or Juneteenth is about, you know. So as a legacy member of a family that has celebrated Juneteenth since the mid 90s, you know, my grandmother used to host events down in Florida. You know, I think it was my responsibility to keep that going, since I was given the platform to do that. And see, and this is a photo of that Juneteenth group, a good amount of them. So yeah, you know, it's and like this year I'm hosting another, the third annual Juneteenth cosplay, you know, photo shoot at Awesome Con, which is a white owned convention in DC, but they happen to have a good 100,000 people that come to it, you know, if not more. And it's becoming one of the largest conventions on the East Coast. And, you know, they've given us a room that's 4,800 square feet in space. And, you know, they're giving me the leeway to host a bigger event, you know. And we're doing this year's theme is the it's a Lovecraft Jazz Age. So if you're familiar with, like, Lovecraft Country, you know, or, like, you know, Cthulhu and the old gods type deal, you know, mixing that with, like, Smooth Criminal or Harlem Nights or, like, the Harlem Renaissance, you know, people are getting into the idea of being super black but super nerdy with it, you know. But then yeah, we'll be in flapper dresses, or, you know, like something that's super dapper, and, you know, a chance for black folks to feel and look gorgeous, just like how they felt here that day. You know, we need some of these things to, in order to boost our morale, especially when there's constant crap happening every single day. And then this here is a diagram of what the community looks like. You know, how spread out we are in the different areas within the industry itself. You know, it's too diverse to not find ways to support the black culture, you know, between artists that create the images that we are into, cosplayers that bring those images to life, vendors who sell, you know, like, whether it be, you know, either the books themselves or, you know, I mean, people make weapons, people make armor, you know. And, you know, you got your podcasters, you got the creators, and then you got folks like King Vader, or those folks who are just like that close to Hollywood, like they just look like they're adjacent to it. You know, all of us, there's so many of us that are out there, but then how are we not seen? Because we don't have the funds or the marketing or the centralized focus from bigger entities to help us get out there.
We have a question.
What's up?
Uncle Mike.
Yeah, brother, thanks so much for coming on and sharing your incredible work and your mission. I have two questions. Maybe the first one is, so I didn't go to your webpage yet, but if we want to get access to your comic books and some of your work, I guess that's on your website. Is that correct?
Yeah, so everything for the most part is on my link tree. Yeah, but so let's see. Link tree.
I'm not familiar
Yeah.
with Linktree.
So Linktree is basically a list of links that, come on now. This is the right thing, right? Maybe not. That there we go. That allow for people to go to one place to see everything that I can link to.
Okay.
You know, so is there a chat that we could put this in real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. Because I am trying to find it. Come on now. Okay. Zoom. Let's see. Let's go back to Zoom. Can I stop screen sharing? Oh no. Oh, there it is. Okay, that's all up there. Chat. There we go. So yeah, link.
Uncle Mike, I text you his link tree.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
Does that work? Did it work in the maybe not.
And my second question is, I notice you keep using the term nerd. So how does one identify someone as a nerd? I have a grandson, he's 7.
Mhm.
I don't know if he's a nerd, but I think he might be interested in this.
Well, that's the thing. The word nerd itself is ubiquitous to anything that you can immediately dive into and know more about than the next person that or the person that's in front of you. So like there are sports nerds. You know, there are guys out there who watch ESPN every single day and know the stats for every player and whatever. So like that's a sports nerd. You know, that's just what he is or what she is. That's just what it is. You got people who are comic book nerds. You got people who are video game nerds. You know, but we created the term we created the term blerd from black nerd.
Okay.
You know, because we are kind of set apart from white folks. You know, there's a certain type of gait, there's a certain type of style, there's a certain type of flavor that we have that, you know, that makes what we do a little bit different. Not, you know, and some people will say, well, yeah, you know, we're better because, you know, black is beautiful, you know, black is king and all that stuff. That's a certain level of pride that we could put into it. But there's always going to be something different when we do it than them, you know, and I don't know, like some people, yeah, some people like it, some people don't, but there's too many, it's at this point really ubiquitous within our community. So with your son, I'm sorry, with your grandson, you know, it could be into anything.
Okay.
I bet you anything, he has a community within this community that he can dive into.
Right now he's into dinosaurs, so I don't know if he's a dinosaur nerd. He can tell me anything about dinosaurs.
Listen, I know people who know every Jurassic Park movie and how it was how the filming went, you know, what kind of like, you know, animatronics they use for what dinosaurs, what's an ankylosaur, what's not. So trust me, there are dinosaur nerds too.
Okay.
You can?
I can hear it.
Yeah, we're hearing it.
I can hear it.
You hear it? All right.
Yeah, I heard it. I can hear it.
For eternity, I master all the universe. My soul will give me power till I leave the earth. I leave the earth, not a barbarian. When it comes to them, there's no comparison. Embarrassing. I'm about mine like Stratos with that airtime. Just imagine my workflow. Straight magic like Orco. Can't take out the Moss Man. Can't camouflage my true growth. Never hanging with Zodak. My side with evil ain't neutral. Yeah. So I call them out like an umpire, like a vertebrae, they backfire. I'm super supernatural in that. So get your grip like a rock climber. GPS your pathfinder. You don't wanna be late. I'm more alert than your reminder. Divine plots, I see through them like triclops and keep trends like evil in. So menacing with the power then ram in like Ram Man. You gotta have the toughest skin. When it's time to save the world, you know you gotta win.
The masters of the universe is here. For eternity, yeah, we do it for our peers. See, my follow through is always in the clear. The way I have the skeletal careers up in here. The masters of the universe is here. For eternity, yeah, we do it for our peers.
There are many faces to a hero. One's worthiness is not found in shades or features, but their actions in life.
The world is an ever-changing landscape, and we want you to know that heroes that look like you exist. They are working to make tomorrow a better place for you. Be strong and at peace with the idea that you are the future.
You are the new Black heroes to lead the way.
I'm glad y'all like that one. So yeah, it's a matter of, yeah, because like I said, and like I said, the king and queen are my parents, and then every other person that was in there, they contributed $1,000 to the Kickstarter so they could be illustrated within. So, you know, that's where we're at, where people are, now that we have the backgrounds done, because it took a while, because that was back in 2021. The guy who animated or illustrated this, his name is Oliver Banks. He's an Emmy award-winning illustrator and animator, and he's right now at an animation convention pushing this, and has had a few conversations with people like in Netflix and all this other stuff. So we still have 4 more to do. I have to soften my language apparently about our interactions with the police, and how children have to have certain type of demeanor when talking to the police. I have a certain type of mentality against the police, and my people are trying to tell me don't be like that, Demetrius. But yeah, so that's that. I don't know if I'm echoing or not, but yeah, that's the PSA. And to the right now there's a couple of action figures that are out there. One person, like I've got the prototype of this one sitting over here, and then there's another one that someone made and actually sold for $337, I believe. Oh no, it's gone. See, yeah, he sold off of eBay. But yeah, there's people are doing things with it, and it's just a matter of being able to help where I can, and that's what I'm doing right now. So
we have a couple of questions.
What's going on?
I'm not sure who was first. Leo, were you first?
I think it was, I don't know, it might have been someone else. But this is not a question. I just wanted to say that the intro was dope. That's all. I saw the intro, has some elements of my childhood growing up. I saw a little element of Thundercats in there.
Yep.
I saw a little elements of my other favorite anime, Ronin Warriors, with White Blaze up in there. So
see, we that was actually that. So an artist decided that I needed to have a battle cat, and you know, he thought that I should have a white base cat with black stripes. But what you saw, as far as the helmet, that was a Voltron reference, the Black Lion. Yeah. And then like, yeah, you saw the owl in the front. That was you know, from Clash of the Titans. You know, so there was definitely some, you know, the way that Skeletor came in, that was definitely Jaga from Thundercats. So yeah, like we wanted to make sure that we hit the nostalgia button on all y'all, so that y'all want to support. All of us are children of the 80s or late 70s or 80s. So
Yeah.
you know, that was yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, sorry, I don't see what it says, the name, brother. You got your hand up. You have the floor.
I think that might be me.
Yeah, CP, and then Paul.
Fellas, good evening. I was born. I just wanted to just say, I mean, you know, I just joined on, man, and I mean, this is like everyone said, it's nostalgic, man. I'm a huge. I had to bring out my, you know, I had to bring them out.
Yeah.
Bring them out. I went to the toy bin. I said, you know, I'm gonna go bring it out, man, because you know, I'm just sitting here watching. I'm like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, I love the whole take on it. My son loves it. You know, he's full going on 5. I got him into it. He's real cool, and he's like, I want to be like He-Man, and like, so we got the toys and everything to play around. My question is, where can I actually find the series? I saw you had the link tree, but like, do you have a running series, or is it just comic books right now? Like,
okay, so okay,
I missed that part because I joined a little late.
Okay, so this is the thing. The creator of He-Man and the Masters of the Multiverse, his name is Tim Seeley.
Yep.
Right. So this is issues 4 and 5 here. I ended up meeting him at PowerCon, which is it was a He-Man and She-Ra specific convention back in like 2019. And he said that, yeah, we all know who you are, Demetrius. We love what you've done, but Mattel Legal will not allow us to use your image, because what I wanted to do, this is him speaking, was have a splash page of all the different He people that he could come up with, like have like 100 He people, and then my cosplay would be a part of that. So what he said was, I had to do something different. You know, I'll pay homage to Sunman, and Sunman is a creation of Willa Eason that came out I think in 1986 or 1987, and she sold over 1 million units. And Sunman was like a knockoff He-Man, but he was black, and it was made by Olmec Toys, and you know, it was made because her child could not connect with He-Man because he did not look like him. So, you know, she was like, I'll make a mix between Sunman and your He-Man, and then he came up with He-Soul, you know, who basically is, you know, powered by the sun, but not, you know, he's got the power as well. And there was only one instance, there was only one instant, or actually 2 instances, where He-Soul was featured in the first comic book. Now they have got a second series. Can you hear me? Okay, because my stuff. There's a second series now by Dark Horse Comics called the Masters Verse, and which is what they're starting to make some of the action figures out of. And issue 4 comes out on May 17th, and He-Soul is in the front with the rest of the He people. So it's kind of like I'm trying to keep myself in check because it's kind of dope. And you know, like I've got 2, like his Sunman just got back out. Like they just put Sunman out, and now he's a part of the Masters of the Universe proper. So, you know, and they've given him the
what's the figure?
Yeah, this is the Mattel Creations
my first time seeing that
collector's edition. So I don't know if you can see the art.
Take out the box because it's a little like light. Right. Yeah, I'm curious to see.
So then this is the the figure itself. Wait, okay.
Okay.
That's dope.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
that's dope.
but then like they did such an awesome job on his origin story. Like they turned, and it's like a heavy card. Look
dope.
at that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's dope. It's dope.
So
It's
now
nice.
they got so many different versions of He Soul. I mean, not He Soul, but Sunman out there that you kind of can't deny his presence.
Mhm.
And I'm just glad that they were able to finally bring Miss Eason into the Mattel universe proper.
Dope. I didn't even know most of these new, like, you know, some of the new stuff that has gone down. That's dope.
Yeah, and like they got Asian. They've got her cast of characters is more diverse than
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's crazy. But
There's more
yeah,
variety on the side. Yeah.
yeah. So that's what's happening as far as the comic book stuff. As far as the PSAs, we still have to record the next 4, but like I said, I'm still writing the second to last one because that's the one that deals with our interactions with the police.
What you do? I gotta ask you, what did you do about Castle Grayskull? You still got it? You still got it as Castle Grayskull? You renamed it? What you did with that?
No, you know, it's we didn't go that far into the lore. You know,
Right.
I thought you were about to ask me, do I still have my Castle Grayskull? I was like, yeah, it's right there. You know, so
Hey. Oh shit, you really do got it. That's dope.
I don't need to
Oh man,
you can't
I got
lie
to
to me.
visit over there, man. That's a little paradise, man. That's awesome. It's awesome, my brother.
Yeah,
It's cool, man.
I got a nice box of stuff that my son can play with. And other
Dope.
stuff he can't. Yeah, you know, but like I said, there are things happening with that I have no control over. I'm just watching. And you know, I did have several conversations with Mattel proper about trying to get them to give me funding so that I can be more of a boots on the ground sort of situation for them, because I was hosting a Harvest Fest here in DC, and you know, again, exposing kids to cosplay, exposing kids to the arts. And it would have been great to be able to give out some figures, you know, of you know, from Mattel. And
I mean, they reaching more people. They reaching more, you know, a diverse, you know, different crowds. I mean, that would have been a great. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't capitalize on that. Maybe they still can.
Well, see, the thing is, I kind of came in, I guess, at the end of an era, because now Hollywood and big big companies no longer want to use influencers, online influencers, in order to sell their business, because they realize that followers don't equal dollars.
That's true. They don't actually spend like that. They'll view whatever, but they actually don't go out and purchase all the time. Right. Yeah.
Right. So that's where I have been trying to get them to understand that I'm not some regular influencer. Like, yeah, I might not have 500,000 followers, but the people that I do connect with, which are a good amount of people, support however they can, you know, because I'm not out here looking for something for myself, you know, but the only thing they see is the bottom line, and they're not really looking to do that. So, excuse me, I at least I know I have a relationship where I can communicate directly with Mattel and their marketing team. I just don't use it because it doesn't really serve me a purpose anymore. You know, what I'm doing with Blerd and Powerful is more important than any single endeavor that I could have for myself, because at the end of the day, a lot of people are all about self and their own vanity and their own clout, as opposed to using the platform that was given to them in order to do some sort of good with it. You know, we have all these lessons, we idolize these people and the lessons that they taught us, and yet we don't utilize them. Why? You know, so that's where I'm at with it. It's just now, you know, I'm making my money as an electrician. You know, I'm studying for my master's license, but you know, that does not, I mean, that takes care of the household. You know, I'm not trying to use social media to supplement my life. That's not what I'm doing.
It's good for you. I wish you best luck, bro. I think it's really dope. I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna check it out on my own after this as well. Me and my son, for sure.
Paul?
I think one of the questions I had was answered already about the Mattel, because when I saw it, the first thing I was thinking was, this is, first of all, let me just be very clear. That intro song, that song is hard as hell. I'm gonna tell you right now. I as a teacher, I have students who are learning Japanese and who have learned Japanese because they're huge anime fans. And when I listen to the song, I'm like, I can see every kid in the school like not only like loving that song, but actually just like sitting in class, literally playing that song on their playlist. So that was phenomenal. I love the representation, and I just love it all around. I would love to know more about conventions and things in the DC area, because I too, I don't write comic books, but I do write novels, and I started my own publishing company. And what you said is something.
You're in DC?
No, I'm in New York, but you know,
oh,
DC's not that far away. So
y'all just had a big convention in Schaumburg. You know, are you?
See, I'm new to the convention space.
Okay.
And so that's why I was the one that was like, hey, can you put that information inside the chat? But I love it. And I also now, as I'm looking at the wall in the background, I am regretting opening all of my toys now as a kid.
Why? Like all of my Spawn ones are open, and so are the Power Ranger stuff, like in the Voltron. And
I was a huge Marvel DC fan. I collected the cards, I read the comic books, and then like most people, I put it in boxes. We moved around, ended up in grandma's basement, and I couldn't tell you where any of that stuff is now. But I just absolutely love it. But just speaking to the aspect of, we need more characters that look and sound like us.
We got them. There are so many Black comic book like creations that are out there right now, like concrete comics or Concept Moon.
I was gonna say, let me and when I say we have them, but and I'll use my students as an example. The vast majority of my students, I'm gonna say somewhere probably around 99%, couldn't tell you anything outside of the main, quote unquote, mainstream heroes and comic books and things of that nature. And I feel like I agree with what you said 100%. There's some sort of unity or entity that needs to bring folks together, because there's a lot of people that would love to support, that would love to be a part of it, that would love to like do it, and they just don't know about it, right? Yeah. And so spreading the word on as many platforms and yelling from the rooftops, and like you said, like there's a convention, letting people know, because a lot of people really are looking and craving for this, and they just don't know where to turn.
Yeah, like I've been having conversations with people who have their original characters being adapted to HBO. You know what I mean? Like they're working with Prentice Penny, who produced the Insecure series on HBO. You know, he's the owner of Black Heroes Matter, you know, like t-shirt and line. Like if you go to like, was it blackheroesmatter.biz, biz, you'll see all of what he puts out, you know. So there's that. You got Stranger Comics. Stranger Comics is getting, you know, because they have got a Black lead, you know, a Black female lead. It's like I think she's an elf. You know, they're being adapted to HBO to a degree. You know what I mean? Like and that one's ran by Sebastian Jones, who used to have a record label and like that did pretty well. They had like Quincy Jones and stuff like that on it. And you know, they're pretty prolific. But again, these people don't know these characters. You know, I was dressed as Icon. I was cosplaying as Icon from the Milestone universe. You know, Milestone universe is a product of the late Dwayne McDuffie that got absorbed by DC Comics, and that's where you see Static and, you know, Rocket, right? So that's Milestone Comics, right? I was Icon, who was basically the Superman. Right here. You know, basically he would have won that fight if he was serious, because Icon can do a little bit more than what Superman can. And even Superman acknowledged that in this book, you know, but Icon is a big deal. And someone, an older black man, you know, didn't know who I was. And, and he called me a couple other names that I had to restrain myself from lashing out in a negative way, because it was almost disrespectful to any creative that knew where we come from and the struggle that Dwayne McDuffie had when he created this character and all that stuff. So it was, our ignorance runs deep. So trying to get our characters out there, even though they are mainstream as hell, is really super difficult. You know, but I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to accept that we don't know ourselves.
I think our community.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I think our community have to do a much better job in promoting our people. We have to definitely get the word out. You know, we'll support them, and then sometimes we won't even support our own people like we should.
Yeah.
We have to do better.
Yeah. But so I've been doing what I can. You know, folks come from far and wide to support these things that I'm doing, but again, I'm only one person, and I can only depend on my network. That's why I'm trying to expand the network and have you all talk to your people, talk to your folks. Like, if you see that folks are having these small conventions or these small get-togethers, and we're it's nothing, there's nothing negative about it. There's no, you know how they immediately turn Black Lives Matter into a political point, you know, against us. How can you spin Black Heroes Matter? How can you spin that into something negative? You really can't, unless you're trying to be racist. You know, the idea of just trying to empower nerds to just not be so depressed because they're not getting the like, again, TikTok, Instagram, we know that they diminish our algorithms because we're Black. We know this because they admitted to this in Congress. So we are inherently diminished by the platforms that we have no choice but to use in order to get our art out there. You know, so we have to rely again on our networks to push us out further. You know, and it's not even about the individual, it's about the overarching culture of like Black comics. Like these, again, Stranger Comics sent me graphic novel after graphic novel, and these are, look at the art on that, you know. And this is a Black-based book, and this is Niobe. Niobe is the protagonist of this story, and she gets no love. Look at that. Looking like Jamanusu. Look at that. I mean, you know, and the books are thick, and these are good quality. You know, not something that is like paper thin or got crappy, you know, visuals, but this is what we're doing for the culture, and nobody sees it. You know, but of course you go to the conventions and they're there behind booths waiting for people to talk to them. So, you know, so I encourage you all. Oh wait, now that I can share the screen, I'll show you. Let me show you what BlerdCon looks like. Let me show you what it actually looks like when it comes to when we're having a good time. Where is this?
Yeah, that'd be great to see. And then we're gonna close up.
Okay.
This has been awesome, man.
Because if we were talk about the space again, we as Black folks do it better than anybody else. and I'm only gonna show this just the first few minutes of it because it's an 8-minute long video. So yeah, but just the first few minutes.
Night, sweetie.
Hey, Mom. Why were you and Daddy talking about NJM?
You can hear it, right?
Well,
Yeah,
we save a lot of money by bundling our home and auto insurance.
Where did that bring you? Back to me. Whatever it takes.
We use the stones again.
Whatever it takes. J Squad.
I think it's time to blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's go.
You see what I'm saying?
That
Like, do you see what I'm saying?
Very dope.
That looks like a lot of fun, man.
And like, how many views has this gotten? Let me see. 26,000 views over 3 years. 26,000 views, and yet you hear about millions of views for other folks. You know what I mean? So it's just it's really frustrating.
Wow.
But yeah, it's like we are a colorful people. We are a talented people, and yet people just don't know how talented unless we're on a Marvel like silver screen. How fair is that?
That's awesome. That's awesome. This has been great. And any closing comments, questions before we let everybody go?
Demetrius, I would say as well, in terms of just, and you have Ishmael as well, definitely use our platform. So when there are things that's happening, that's going on, feel free to just send it to Ish, and we would have no problems with promoting it and pushing it out. So we can just do that part. So you have us. So
yeah, anytime that I can let people know that we're all going to be in a specific space, I want you to see us. I want you to see what we can do. And like, that's what I'm doing at San Diego. Like, I'm waiting for confirmation because I applied for a panel to introduce San Diego Comic-Con to those 4 conventions. Like, I got them primed to come with me to be out there. And that will be a really big deal. And then to just roll that over to New York Comic-Con. You know, New York Comic Con has about 160,000 people per day that go there. You know what I mean? And that's massive. You know, so it's just a matter of just showing you all that we exist and we're doing something that's amazing. You know, and it's positive. There's nothing negative about this at all. Like,
Definitely use us. We have no problem with, promoting it. We have no problem with also coming out and experiencing it as well. So just let us know let us know what we need to do.
okay, yeah, because
just
things are. I'll forward it to Ishmael, and whatever you can work, forward it to you. You know, I appreciate you.
I just have one question. Can you
Yes, sir.
share just one proud moment about your son with us?
So what now?
Can you share one proud moment that you had with your son?
Too many.
Just one.
Just one. I think he was just about 2. And I caught this actually on video. If you go to my TikTok, it's in the very top. It's pinned. And I labeled it, this is what representation looks like. Okay. I showed him my He-Man figure, right? And I asked him, does he know who this is? And he looked at me, he said, that's you. And with the issues that I have with trying to get custody and all that stuff, it's
Right.
so yeah, that's the fact that I can do this for him. Yeah, that's the
Beautiful.
Damn.
No,
Right.
No, it wasn't supposed to be that way. I was
Right.
good.
That's what we do here. That's what we do here. We're among brothers. It's okay. Let it out. Let it out.
It's a safe space. But real fast, I'll go, and then next to Carlton. Carlton's up next. But what I wanted, the reason why I brought Demetrius on was to bring that aspect that there's many extraordinary fathers like himself that's in this blurred world. And unfortunately, there's a disconnect when it comes to the fatherhood movement. Black fathers, they kind of don't recognize brothers like Demetrius, who's a cosplay, but also extraordinary father, and is more like Demetrius out there that's in that world, but is an extraordinary father. And the reason why they do this is to build that connection with their child, because a lot of their kids are into this world. And so it's something to bring them together. And it's important in this fatherhood in this fatherhood movement, is to highlight brothers like Demetrius, that he is bringing the community together. But the reason why he's doing this is for his son. So, this is not like fake. This is real. This is authentic. His emotions are real. Like, he is doing this for his son. Like him holding his son, holding an action figure that looks like him, is like it's a powerful thing. Like when we were doing the superhero award action figures, and the dads holding action figures that look like themselves as awards, like they said that was like the best award they ever received, because again, that brought that inner child out of them. Like, I could never imagine to have something that looked like myself, and they had it in their hands. And so I just, hopefully from this Zoom, we can build that bridge to bring like fathers like Demetrius into the group, just into the world, and just highlight what they're doing, because there's so many Black fathers out there that's in this world, and their stories haven't been told, and they feel like they don't have a support unit to go to. And so again, Demetrius, thank you for jumping on, bro. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, we all appreciate you. We salute you, and keep being the awesome father that you are. It's worth the hard work that you're putting into it. We really salute you this evening.
Thank you.
Postpone. I just want to say, I just put my information in the chat. Please reach out to me. When you get a chance, I'd like to, talk with you maybe offline and see how I can help with the custody situation. I'd be happy to see if I can help you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm working it out. It's my first lawyer screwed me. She did not submit my financial documentation to the judge.
I've been dealing with it for 3 years. I've had some great victories, but I'm willing, I've helped some other fathers as well do it. But when this is something very dear to me, it's very personal to me. So when I hear somebody going through it, I put my information out there. Just give me a call, email me, whatever you want to do. We can talk offline, and I'll see how I can help.
Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you.
And Demetrius, just to give you a heads up, man, that's the great thing about this group is that it's a support group. Like any resources or information you need, what you're going through, this is the part, that's the key word of the Real Dads is the network. We are a network. A lot of the brothers are part of the network. Anytime they need information, they shoot us an email or anything, and we'll reach out to them as soon as possible. And that's how powerful this network is.
All right. Thank you. I do appreciate it. I'm 3.5 years of therapy has has helped a lot. But yeah, it's getting better. Like I said, he'll be 4 at the end of August, and he's worth it all. He's worth it all. All the heartache and all that stuff. He's worth it all. So I hear you. Thank you.
You're welcome.